Okay. All praises. So, here at the Torah Group, we are advocates of restoring our culture to us and awakening the original house of David or Jacob. So we're going to start with our Sharash Ibar, and this is going to set the tone for today's class. So let me stop this share, get that out off the screen, and pull up this one. Take it all down. All right, I'm trying something different. Let me know if you guys can see this. Continue to share. So can you guys see the title for Sharash Ibar?
Uh,
We can.
uh,
All praise the water for that. So I know most of you on here are veterans, but I have to do this for those who are still learning, and also for those who may watch this live stream on Facebook. Sharash means roots, and Ibar is who we really are as a people. We're not Hebrews. There's no such thing as a Hebrew. That is what we would call a Ebonics word the pagans made up because they couldn't understand our language or our culture. So the word Hebrew is a made up word. None of the ancients would ever understand if you said that you were Hebrew or they were Hebrews. So Sharash Ibar is the roots of the Ibaryam people. For the sake of clarity, is we would say Hebrew roots. For those still learning, the top word there, we're going to start on the right side of the screen. That first glyph you see, it looks like a E on his back. That is two front teeth. It gives us the Sha sound. The next character or glyph you see is the head of a man. That gives us our Ra sound. And then you have the two front teeth again, giving us the Sha sound, and it's just Sharash. We know inherently in between these characters is a short A sound, Sharash. And then on bottom, you see the glyph of an eyeball, and you just pronounce it I. The next glyph is a floor plan of a tent or a bayat. It gives us the Ba sound. And then you have the head of a man again, gives us the Ra sound, and it's Ibar, Sharash Ibar, or just Hebrew roots. And here we're just showing that as they moved away from the glyphs, the language became abstract and it was hard to understand if you wasn't a original native to our culture. The word in the brown box that's circled, that is the same word in red. So Ibar is at the top in red, and you see it again inside that brown box with the circle around it. It's the same word, but you see the characters have been changed, and the characters are abstract. The I now looks like an O. And if you didn't know the language or the culture, you wouldn't know how to pronounce that word. And then you see the second glyph, the picture of the tent floor or the bayat, the ba sound, that's totally changed. So, and then you see the head of a man at the end, it looks like the start of an English R. So this is why the pagans butchered our text. This is why the pagans have poor translations. This is why Christian dogma is erroneous, because they don't know the original language and they don't know what our culture is saying. So that's all we're saying here. This word, we put it back into our culture. They're saying hi Ibar. That whole phrase or word in the brown box, it starts with that glyph that looks like the old-fashioned Afro pick. That's a H. That's a H sound. So you say ha for the, and then you have Ibar again, and then that glyph on the end that looks like a Z with the hash in it. That's the Y sound. So that's hi Ibarya. And the ya at the end is just a pronoun letting you know that I'm referring to a male subject. So that whole phrase or word in the brown box is hi Ibarya. and the pagans turned it into saying, "Oh, I'm gonna put the H sound with this new glyph," and they made up a word called Hebrew. And there's no such thing as a Hebrew in our ancient town of Yerushalayim or Jerusalem. There's no such thing as a Hebrew. Any comments or questions about this screen here? Master gave me off Monday, so I have all day and night to be with you guys. There's no rush. So here I'm just trying to help again, show you how they butchered our language, and they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. That's the H, the I, the Ba, the Ra, and the Ya. That's all I'm doing here. So those who are veterans, you guys know we're no one special here. We're not super holy. We're not super spiritual. We're just physical Israelites in covenant with Abba Yah, and he is revealing himself to us and returning our culture to us. But this is a tribal declaration for the whole 12 tribes. These are Israelite scrolls written by Israelites. If you don't understand the Israelites, then you won't understand these scrolls. We're not saying that you have to be an Israelite to understand. We're saying that you have to learn the original culture. If you keep trying to read the Bible from a Greco-Roman perspective, you're going to keep running into a ditch. They keep having to philosophize the scriptures because they don't know the original culture. So that's what we're saying. We're not saying only Israelites can understand the Bible. We're saying you have to learn the original culture of the Israelites if you want to understand what these prophecies, past and future, is really talking about. Any comments or questions about this slide? All right, so if you got a pen or paper, get ready. Someone, let me check the chat here. I'm trying to check the chat. So the Joyce said also at 7:01. Sister T said 1. Okay, we got some ones for the virtual space. All praises. Ox says, I'm over here choked up. I can't even speak right now because you really. Khan, love you, brother. Keep growing out, Brian. Keep growing out. So this word is a very, very short word, and I'm just gonna, to help you out, because I want you to. My goal, while I'm still have life and air in my lungs, is to restore natural Israelites, because that's the key to returning to Abba. So just put your Israelite Shemitic hat on, your brain on. This is a very short word, but the connotation of this word is positive. The way we're using it today is very, very positive. Okay, so take a few seconds to see if you can decipher this.
I got sent from different struggles. I've been where I send this stuff. Break it since I send it up. Break it since I send it up. All praise. Up. I got sent from different struggles. I've been where I send this stuff. Break it since I send it up. Shoes off, ground, chin touch. Movers off, now I'm in y'all presence. You keep me lifted up. But of this world fake, I see that. Put me through the fire, Meshach. Face to face where I wanna be at. Through the wilderness, where the east at. Though I'm here, you meet me here too. With the captives near you. Like Ezekiel, clear view. Like Sinai, sapphire blue. In the armor like cast iron suits. Right in return, I'm back to my own view. Flesh speaking, just keep it on mute. Shema Yasharah, Yahuwah, Allahanu, Yahuwah, Akah. Only listen to your how I speak. That's the truth. You send a blessing, some back at you. That's Abraham and that's Genesis. That's chapter 12, that's verse 3. That's major damage, let's finish this. Yes, we the 12 can't curse me. If you did, he reimbursed me. That's Balaam, that's Balak. I see a star, he encouraged me. He come from the east like Jersey and set in the west like Curry. And his mom in here submerging by an ark with a mercy seat, 2 cherubim, no burning me. Just your highest shot, he the perfect sheet. I observe divine like botany. Don't bother me, stop calling me. If you
My ox said, I observe the vine like botany. Man, that's the most righteous verse I've heard.
I've been where I send this stuff. Break it since I send it up.
So Mashapop, anybody, don't be afraid. We're all learning. It's no right or wrong answer. Anybody want to throw out what they got for these two glyphs? Again, we start on the right side with the head of the man.
I got I or either Rai.
Khan, that's what I got. Rai or Ra'ah. Anything different? Anything different? So me and Sister Joyce process is the same. And the head of the man give us the Ra sound, and then the I we just say I. So it's Rai. And today, this word is being used positively. We all know, most of us who are veterans, we know our words have positive and negative connotations depending on the usage. So today it's going to be a positive, super positive word. You won't believe what these pagans turned this word into. And this is how we're going to just awaken Israelites, reclaim our scrolls, reclaim our texts, and show the world that if you don't understand these glyphs, the prophecies, the Bible, so-called Old and New Testament, is not going to make sense to you. It's not going to make sense to you. So this word is Rai, and it's a simple word and has different connotations to it. Today we're going to use a positive connotation. Positive connotation. So again, we do this for those who are still learning. We want no Israelite left behind. Like Paul says, my desire is that all Israel shall be saved. And now I will add, for my desire, righteous strangers as well. We want righteous strangers to walk in line with the Most High's commandments. So the head of the man gives us the Ra sound. The pagans came up and used that for their R sound. So Ra, we can see, is R for them. I think the Greeks turned it into a Rho. So the Greeks have a Rho sound, RHO. They pronounce it as Rho, but they got it from us. The head of a man for us makes the Ra sound. And then the next character, and the Ra or the head of the man has a connotation of head of the family. It can means to begin. Now, these are just a few ways you can process the glyphs. There's no all inclusive. Like, you just have to, as we return to being Israelites, you would know how I'm using this word just from our speech patterns. Just like today, I can't understand a lot of the slang today because I don't listen to that new music. So even when we was on vacation, we're trying to have a good time, and we love music. So we're trying to bop to the beat, but I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, well, I don't understand nothing they're talking about. I don't understand this modern slang. So it's just like that with our language. We would know what we're saying to each other because we know the culture. So just two of the most popular ways to use the head of the man. It could represent being the head of the family or to begin, to start something. Just two. And then the picture of the eye, again, is just the I sound. You see the glyph of an eye, and you will pronounce I. That's a simple glyph. It has the connotation of the physical eye seeing something or to continue. So if I'm using it on the first level, or I would say that like the more concrete level, my eye, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing something. I'm discerning something. But then a more abstract or secondary level, the eye, because we take for granted how far we can see. Even looking up at the sun and the moon, like, these pagans came up with all kind of calculations. I don't know how they did it, but they're telling us the sun is X amount of miles away. So that's a very far away, a far distance we can see. So your eye, in a secondary connotation, is to continue or to have longevity. To continue or to have longevity. Anyone want to process rye with the head of the man in the eye? Have a longevity. There's no right or wrong answer. Brainstorm, just throw it out. We're all learning here.
I got the first to see or the first to behold, and then I looked at like maybe the head of the experience, and then the first to continue.
Calm. Yeah, you're definitely you're pretty much spot on with what this word is being used for today. That's a great job, sis. Great job. And again, those just learning, don't feel intimidated. All of us, we just been practicing over the years, and it's very easy once you catch the meanings of this glyph. Great job, Sister Joyce. Anybody else? All right, no worries. Nariah, let's get ready to go to Exodus 20. Washamoth. Exodus 20. So the way we're using this word today is a man continues. A man continues. If a man continues, what? Let's just read Exodus 20 and 16 because I can't really phrase it without pretty much giving it away. A man continues. We're going to Exodus 20 and 16. Wash your mouth, and these are the names. Chapter 20, verse 16.
My
Exodus 20 and 6. Read up.
the book of Exodus, Washamoth, chapter 20, verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
You should do what?
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
This is one of our commandments. You shouldn't lie against your neighbor. And that pagan word neighbor has been butchered by the Christian religion. Neighbor now means anyone that is near to you, anyone that's dear to your heart. But in this context of the commandments, when he says that you should not bear false witness against your neighbor, the Hebrew word neighbor, or the Hebrew word for their pagan word neighbor, is Rai. So if we put the true Hebraic context back into this commandment, my neighbor is a man that's continuing. A man's lineage continues. Anyone catching this? A man's posterity continues. If a man's posterity continues, what is that? That's his family.
Your brother, your family. Yep.
That's your family. So this. I mean, I couldn't wait to share this because this everything we do is just destroying Christian dogma. Even Shamarya's series, it's just destroying Christian dogma, and we just have to do this. It just our culture overlaps. It's just no getting around this. Now you done took me inside your Christian church and turn to your neighbor and turn to your neighbor, and you supposed to love your neighbor. You ain't supposed to hate your neighbor, and you're processing neighbor as a Greco-Roman student, not realizing when Abba says you shouldn't lie against your neighbor, he was saying you shouldn't lie against your family, against your people. No matter what tribe they come from, whether they're from Manasseh, Ephraim, we are all Rai. We are the seed of one man. We are the seed of one man. Any comments or questions about that? I'm already getting excited. Let me calm down. Bless God. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I definitely see it once you broke it down like that. I was looking at it from the perspective of the chief is eternal, but definitely after reading this as well, a man's continuance definitely is the descendants of that man. So I can definitely see it.
Now you already all in my notes, Nariah, because what you just said. Say that again. How you say it? How you phrase it again? You said a man. You said the chief continues or something like that.
Yeah, so I was looking at it when you said it was positive. I was looking at it from the Most High's perspective as well as our perspective down here. So, Yah, the chief, he is eternal because you said how the eye can almost see like the sun or whatever is very, very far away. So the eye can mean to endure or to continue. So if you can see it, it can essentially be a limitless amount of distance away. So it can be like eternal. That's the way I process like Yah's perspective, the chief being eternal. Uh,
Now,
but from a man's perspective, the man's continuance. looking at it for like descendants.
Man, you get me so hot right now. Plus, I'm drinking this cayenne water. Man, anyone else have something before I add on to what he's saying? Because he's Nariah is just pushing us right into where we're going. Nariah is just pushing us into where we're going.
I was listening to y'all and something came to mind, and I don't mind being corrected, but what I was thinking about as well, I was thinking about what Yahushua had said when the people had came and they were like, "Yo, your brother and your mother outside," and he was like, "Well, who is my brother? Who is my mother? The one who does the will of my Father." So when I saw
Come
this,
on now.
I was I was thinking about he who continues with the chief. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking. But yes, sir. Con.
Come on now. Oh my God. We having church in here because what now Zamoya then gave us more meat because yes, being physical descendant of Abraham gets you on the boat, but to stay on the boat, like Nariah, like Zamoya just said, you have to continue in the ways of the chief, and our chief is the Most High. Our chief is the Most High. So Zemaria is giving us more meat. But before I lose my thought about Nariah pushing us where we're trying to go, Nariah says he see these glyphs as the chief continues. Our chief is the Most High. So the Most High is eternal, and then he adopted us to be eternal with him. Come on now. He didn't choose the world. That's the Christian dogma we're going to destroy today. The world or Christianity says we're all God's people, but the text don't agree with you, because the Most High just told us in Exodus 20:6, don't bear false witness, don't lie on your neighbor, and the neighbor in the Hebraic sense is the man that continues, Adam down to Enoch, down to Noah, down to Abraham, down to Isaac and Jacob. That one seed, that one righteous seed is continuing, and this is the seed that the Abba chose to be with him eternally. Man, let's go ahead and have church. Because Revelations 21, I see a new heaven and a new Jerusalem coming down to the earth. And it says that the habitation of Yah is with men, but that men is not the whole world. That men, in air quotes, are the children of Israel. We are the man that is continuing. We are the lineage of that holy seed that's going to be eternal. Come on, man. Father, help us. Any other comments or questions about this word? iPhone says, all praise. I was just looking into this verse and saw it was a whole different Hebrew word for neighbor. Exodus 3:22. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor Shechan, not Rai, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. That is a great point, because that word there, so I don't know who iPhone is, they're saying they looked it up and they're saying there's a different word, shakan, saying borrow of your neighbor. But those people they were going to so-called borrow from, who were they? Who were they, family?
The Egyptians.
The Egyptians and other nations who were living in Egypt. So that is a great eye. That's a different Hebrew word, but it's not relating to family, because those were other nations living in Egypt. Because y'all remember the story. There was a famine on the earth, and if you wanted to survive, you either moved to Egypt or you had to go to Egypt to buy supplies. So that night before we left, and Abba told us to go to the neighbors to borrow, it's really
Shalom. Did we lose sound? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think he went out.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
hear
think
you. I
we
thought it was me because I'm in the mountains.
we lost our Baja. He'll come back. I'll text.
Mic check, mic check. Are we back? Are we back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we back. You were talking about the last thing I remember is how those were the Egyptians and the other nations. You can just pick back up from there.
So someone had put in the chat that they researched the word, another instance of neighbor in Exodus, and the word was shakan. And I pointed out that's a great eye because those people should that word shakan or that instance of neighbor when it says go borrow of your neighbor jewels and all these different things. That's a great contrast because those people that we went to so-called borrow from, they wasn't really our neighbors. They were different nations. They were Egyptians and other nations who had came to Egypt to escape the famine. So that was a great eye. Whoever the iPhone is, that word shakan is different, has a different connotation than RAI. So that's all I was pointing out. The devil is definitely mad. The stream stopped like that. Come on now, Navar, you had your hand up. Let me start this live stream back up.
Khan, I just wanted to point out uh, it's a small grammatical difference, but it's a big difference when you look at the context of what you're saying. In the Britain Septuagint in Exodus chapter 3, verse 22, um, I'll actually start at 20. It says, "And I will stretch out my hand and smite the Egyptians with all my wonders which I shall work among them. And after that, he will send you forth. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And whenever you shall escape, you shall not depart empty. But every woman shall ask of her neighbor, a fellow lodger, articles of gold and silver and apparel, and you shall put them on your sons and upon your daughters, and spoil ye the Egyptians." So, when you look at it in context, this is saying that we were going to take and not borrow. We're not borrowing anything because there was no intendance to give it back. We were spoiling the Egyptians. So if we're spoiling and taking from a certain people, but the commandment says not to essentially lie to your neighbor, quote unquote, that would be contradictory. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I mentioned that before the stream stopped. Uh, that even that sentence or that verse saying "go borrow from your neighbor," that word "borrow" proves the pagans don't understand the culture because borrow means that I have an intent to give it back to you, and we were on our way to the wilderness, never to see Egypt again. So Nariah's point is valid. That this proves contextually these translators, or I don't want to be too hard on the translators because I believe they had good intentions. It's just the fact that every pagan language falls short of our language. So they're picking the closest word they can in their language to express the original Hebrew. And we constantly see, now that the Most High is restoring us, we're constantly seeing their translations is falling short. And that has allowed false doctrine, that Christian dogma, to creep in. Shamaria put something in the chat. I think he did a breakdown of Shakan. I see. He says Shakan would relate to separated as well as in different people. Khan. So if you put the glyphs for Shakan, he's saying that it connotation means to be separated, or in our context, these are different people. Go borrow from Shakan. Go borrow, so-called borrow from Shakan, these separated people. And again, that word borrow is a poor translation because we had no intent of coming back to repay or restore them. So this is the textual criticism that people inside these religions, they don't want to take the time to see, or either the Most High hasn't blessed them with their natural eyes or their spiritual eyes yet. Great comment, Shamaria Naraya. Any others before we continue? I'm trying to.
Um, just one more thing. Looking at that word shakan or shachan, depending on how the cha sound is articulated.
Mm-hmm.
If his three characters, the two front teeth, the cha, which is the fence, and then the na, which is the seed, the way I the way I visualize it, if you had apple seeds and orange seeds, you wouldn't want them to be plotted in the same soil. So you would divide them and separate them and put them on opposite ends of each other. So you can look at the seed of Israel or Yasharallah and the seed of Matazariam or the Egyptians on, and we were in Goshen anyway. We were separated. So we were separated on the other side of the fence. So if it's those three characters, then that would make even more sense to me.
Con, con, and for again, man, we just those still learning. Don't feel like you are don't understand what we're saying. You just have to practice with these glyphs. We all been there. Take you a notebook, some paper, and just start drawing these glyphs the best you can. I'm not an artist, and just practice each glyph one a day, two a day, and then start learning the meanings of these glyphs, and you'll just see the true original text or the true original scrolls that Abba gave to the ancestors reads totally different than these translations that we have processed in the pagan English. Doesn't have the same connotation in Hebrew. Neighbor in Hebrew is not like, hey, I know you and we're familiar or we move next to each other. Rai means we're the seed of the same man. We are the loins of the same man. Any comments or questions about that? So did my screen stop
Um,
sharing?
I can't see it, but to validate what you're saying in that regard, not lying to your brother, essentially, you see that our people weren't rebuked for lying to someone who wasn't in our nation. Like you saw our ancestors trick or beguile the heathen all the time.
Calm, calm. And that's another series, man. I got so much I want to share before I'm out of here. Anyway, I just want to leave you guys with as much meat as I can, but just rehearsing the covenant, being confident in the covenant, and everything extra covenant. When I say extra covenant, I mean outside the covenant. It doesn't pertain to me. So if it's not in my covenant, I have liberty to practice that as long as I'm not violating my contract. That's another fallacy of religion, i.e., Christianity, coming up with all these rules and regulations that's not inside our covenant. So I mean, y'all willing if he spares my life, we get into that. Making sure you guys are concrete in the covenant because I see your hand says this covenant is not burdensome. This covenant doesn't have us where we can't smile, we can't share our teeth. This covenant doesn't have us where we can't shake a leg and have a good time. No, the Most High. If you read this, I don't know why we here, but we're here now. If you read the text over and over again, the Most High says, "I want your joy to be full. I want you to, when your belly is full, thank me, celebrate me. When your wine is full, thank me, celebrate me." So this covenant is not robotic and oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, bless you. All that mystic fake stuff we learn in church, it don't belong in our covenant. It don't belong here. Sister Amanai, you had your hand up, sis.
Con, um, I had to step away from my iPad for just a minute, and I came back and I got the tail end of what Aknariah was saying about lying. So Aknariah, if you don't mind, could you just quickly repeat that, sir?
Khan, yeah. So I'm gonna go back to Exodus 20, and then I'm just gonna clarify. So Exodus 20, verse 16, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And that word neighbor, as what Abijah was bringing out, is Rai, the chief's continuance, which means the children of Yasharallah who practice to keep the covenant is what this is referring to. But my point was, when it came to the heathen, our enemies, we are not in sin if we lied to them. It's just like a war tactic. You wouldn't tell your enemy in a war what your plan is. You will use tactics of deceit and trickery and beguiling of them to overcome them. Misinformation. So that's the clarity that I was bringing out. Like we aren't supposed to lie to one another. Like I'm not supposed to lie to you, Amanai, as far as you being a covenant keeper. But if somebody was coming against us in an intent to do us harm, I would give them misinformation to make them go the opposite way so they wouldn't come towards us, if that makes sense.
Khan, it makes sense. The water,
All praise.
All right, my Shapaka, I'm trying to hardwire. So my connection is unstable, so I'm trying to get to this hardwire to see if it improves the connection. Con, great point. Any other comments before we continue? So this word neighbor does not equate or translate well when you return to your culture. It does not translate well when we return to the culture. So the Hebraic context of the pagan word neighbor means that a man's family continues eternally. Let me read that again. The Hebraic context of the pagan word neighbor means that a man's family continues eternally. And as Nariah and Zemariah was pretty much tag teaming, the chief or the Most High is the head of us. He is eternal, and he created us to live eternally with him. Christianity want to say it's the world or born again believers, but the prophecies and the text in the Hebraic context, in the original context, does not agree with Christianity. We can pull witness after witness, because what is that Psalms 6 or 106? Didn't I say that ye are gods, but ye shall die like men? So somebody pull that, because I don't want to misquote that. But after we get that, it's going to make sense. I said that ye are gods, but ye shall die like men. Yahweh Shai wasn't talking to the world when he said that. He was talking to Israelites, the seed of Abraham, and he was telling them, if you guys return to the Most High's ways, if you return to the Most High's covenant, the same covenant that he gave Moses or Masha, you guys are supposed to be eternal. But since you're rebelling against your creator, the Most High, you're rebelling against the great I am, you're going to die like a man, meaning like the other people. Did somebody pull that verse? I don't want to misquote it.
Khan, it's Tahalim 82, verses 6 and 7.
Okay, Khan, go ahead and read it out.
It says, I have said, ye are gods, lowercase g, and all of you are children of the Most High, but you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes.
So again, this is just, we're not twisting this text. We're not trying to be super radical. We're not trying to be super deep. The Most High has restored our sight. The Most High has repaired the breach because of the blood of Yahushua, and we can see now The Hebrew word "rai," a man continues. Now we're reading Psalms. We said 126 or 82. Psalms 82 and 6. I have said that ye are powers, ye are little Elohims, but because you're rebelling, because you're in sin, you're gonna die like the men, or die like the fallen princes who rebelled against Abba. And he's talking to the children of Israel. We're not supposed to die. So this is just supporting what Zamaria said, to continue in the chief's ways, to continue to be with the chief who's eternal. We're supposed to be eternal. This thing is very basic when you are a born again Israelite, not rebelling against the covenant and not rebelling against the blood of Yahweh. We accept it all. We accept our covenant and we accept Yahweh, the only begotten Son, as our Redeemer. He is not the great I am. He is not equal to his Father. He don't share anything with his Father. His Father gives to him. This is what we're standing on. Any comments or questions about that? So I came up with a acronym at the job, just brainstorming and listening to scriptures and different things. This way of life, what this text is really saying in the Hebraic context, is hard for people. It's hard for people. And I just came up with Hebrews against religious dogma. But it's hard for people to like, I can't believe he's only created Israel to be eternal. I can't believe the text supports this. The text supports this. Even in Daniel 12, the last chapter of Daniel, the angel Michael, Malachiah, or Makah is telling Daniel, in the last days, many of your people are going to resurrect, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting contempt. We don't find any other text where other nations are resurrecting. Even at Yahweh's resurrection, people miss this. But if you go back and read that Matthew and I think or John account, it said that many of the people came out of their graves and returned to their families. Well, these people coming out of their graves wasn't Romans, wasn't Canaanites. They were Israelites. They were Jews. So when we say that we are the eternal seed that's going to live eternally with Yah, the text supports that. This way of life is hard. This way of life is hard. Knowing that your children are going to be cut off, and it's hard. Knowing that your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your pop, big mama, pop is going to be cut off is a hard way of life. Just look at the track record of our history. Lot and his wife, they were given instructions, don't look back. Don't look back. Lot's rib looked back. All he noticed was that hand wasn't attached to him no more. Did Lot stop? Did Lot stop and look back? No, he kept going. Ezekiel's wife passed away, and she had to be wicked. I'm taking liberty here. I don't have no text. But Ezekiel's wife passed away. And what did the Most High tell Ezekiel, Mashapop?
Don't mourn her.
Don't mourn for her. So I'm just taking some liberty. She had to be wicked. Because why would the Most High tell me not to mourn a righteous woman who have served him, meaning the Most High, by serving me? If she was a righteous woman who feared the Most High and kept my house for me, why would the Most High tell me not to mourn her? So I'm just taking liberty. I don't have no text. I'm saying she had to be a wicked woman for the Most High to tell Ezekiel, don't mourn for her. That's hard. Can you imagine laying down with this woman 30, 40 years, then went on trips? She may have helped you beat away a lion, wrestle away bear. She done gave you your children, and now she passes away, and you hear from the Abba, don't mourn for her. This way of life is hard. This way of life is hard. I seen a comment I was trying to catch. Nariah just dropping scriptures inside the text. All right. Any other comments or questions before we move on?
Yeah, I have a question. So like would that like go for like the same as with like your family in terms of like not like mourning if they don't like, turn back to y'all like
In our era, great question. In our era right now, I would say we have to have compassion because we are not the generation who received the covenant on Sinai. Everything that we were doing that we didn't know, it's because of the Levites dropped the ball. So to this day, our brothers and sisters, our family who is in sin and don't know it, is really not their fault. But you know, they're going to be without excuse because knowledge, the Most High is restoring His people, and we have brothers and sisters to the four winds sounding the alarm. And some of our brothers and sisters are just rebelling, and so it's going to come a time when they are without excuse. For us, I think like Nariah was saying with his praise report, for us, let's just remain humble and grateful that we were blessed to be restored and show compassion to them, and maybe before it's all said and done, the Most High will soften their hearts to come into the fold. That's all we can do is have compassion, because you and I are not special. We're not smarter than them. The Most High has blessed us, and we
right,
don't know
yeah.
why. We don't know why.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments or questions before we move on? All right, so that's today's word, RAI.